Well, welcome to another episode of Did You Know? I'd like to start with something that you already do know, which is that in Alaska, health workforce is absolutely critical. And no time in Alaska's history has it been more important than today when we're all struggling with COVID and trying to move on past that. Now, already in Alaska, many of the people that are working in the healthcare field, health and social services, come from a UAA background, but there are still many gaps remaining in our workforce that we need to fill. Now, the College of Health at UAA is only a part of the University of Alaska health program system. We have health programs across the state in community campuses as well as at the main campuses of each university. We now graduate close to 900 health graduates every year from the University of Alaska system, and that's up from under 400 in the year 2000. We're very pleased today to have Desiree Shepler here. She has a long history with the university. She started her career at the university at the Mat-Su campus, where she received her associate's degree in human services, went on to get her bachelor's in psychology and her master's in public health here at UAA. Her current position is as the CEO of the Alaska Family Services, a nonprofit that provides 23 support programs for families and children here in Alaska. Previously, she founded the Raising Our Children with Kindness Collaborative. She was a top 40 under 40 in 2018. And Desiree, we're very pleased to have you here today.
Thank you.
So I'd like to start with sort of one of the most important questions that we ask people, which is, gee, you obviously had a lot of choices of where you would go to college. What made you decide to start your career at Mat-Su College and then move on to UAA?
Yeah, so when I started college, I was a young single mom and my family was here in Mat-Su. So what Mat-Su College offered me was the opportunity to start my college education in a community where my family could help with childcare, where I didn't have to worry about commute time or any of that, and it also gave me the chance to sort of figure out where I wanted to go. I knew that broadly I was interested in a career focused on children and families, but I really had no idea what my options were to get me there or what exactly it was that I wanted to do. So when I finished my associate's degree, I had sort of fallen in love with my first psychology class, and that required me to transition to UAA for a psychology degree. And when I was there, I was really lucky to have a college experience where I had so many professors who were interested in and invested in helping me succeed. Like I really felt like the small class sizes, the personal relationships I built with my professors, but also professors in other departments. It was really beneficial and I had a fantastic undergraduate experience. So when the time came for me to start looking at graduate school, and I decided that as much as I had loved my psychology background and my human services work, that I didn't want to do direct service. I was really interested in this broader idea of population health. I started looking at public health programs. And I did at that point consider leaving the state and going elsewhere. But I knew that I wanted to work here in Alaska and that I wanted to finish raising my kids here in Alaska. And what the MPH program at UAA had was the focus on public health in Alaska. And that was really interesting to me. Also, it gave me a chance to continue to build relationships with individuals who were working in the field that I wanted to work in. And I knew that that would benefit me professionally in the future. As an added bonus, it was all very affordable, which was nice as a young single mom.
Well, that's great. So you've really had some very important leadership positions at a pretty young age. How did these programs, these degree programs, prepare you for that career as a leader in the healthcare field?
I would say there's always sort of a bumpy transition when you go from theory to practice, right? So you go from being a student to working in your field. Everything's neater in a textbook or a lecture than it is in real life. but the focus of the MPH program is public health practice. So I would say I was prepared as I could possibly be for that transition from studying public health to doing public health. Now, 11 years after graduation, I can honestly say I continue to use what I learned in grad school every day. The MPH program didn't just educate me on understanding the public health issues that we face both broadly in our country or in the world, but also specific to Alaska. It also gave me a really fantastic grounding in how to design and implement and evaluate public health programs. Also, in both my undergrad and graduate experience, there was a really heavy emphasis on research and learning how to read and understand and use research. And that, I think, is part of what's really important when you do public health work or really any social services work. I would also say I'm a better public health professional for having started within education and human services. Human services is all about promoting individual well-being and empowerment. And although I've never worked in direct service, I've always been in an administrative role. I'm a better administrator for understanding the importance and ways that we need to meet people where they are.
So we know we still have a gap in health workforce, and many of our health providers have to import people from outside as travelers. How important do you think it is that we grow our own here in Alaska and that Alaskans are actually filling these health workforce jobs?
I think it's incredibly important. Alaskans like to say that we're unique, right? Nothing fails like an outsider coming in and telling us how to solve our issues. And the thing is, we do have many unique challenges here, not just at the state level, but I would even say community by community. So we need Alaskans who are familiar with the unique challenges of their communities, educated in ways to address their unique health and social service challenges. I think the best way to do that is through the University of Alaska system. We need small college campuses and online courses that let Alaskan students stay in their home communities like I was able to do. And I think we need programs like the public health program that focus on Alaska issues. I mean, I see it every day in my job here. We have such a workforce shortage. And we really have two choices. Either we invest in bringing in more professionals from outside to fill those jobs, or we invest in educating Alaskans to do them. These fields are so specific to communities. The most powerful way to solve them is to train individuals here to solve those problems.
Great. So you've already had a terrific career. What's the most personally rewarding part of the work that you do?
I would say it is what I get to do. Every day I work to improve the lives of children and families in my community, the community I grew up in, the community my parents live in, the community I raised my kids in. I work with people I went to high school and college with, people who are as invested in improving the lives of children and families in our community as I am. I also get to work with passionate people across the state who are doing the same work in their communities. Alaska is the biggest small town. I can honestly say that I am incredibly lucky to get to do what I do, and I absolutely have the University of Alaska system to thank for that.
Well, thanks, Desiree. We're very proud of you. We're very proud of the work that you do, and obviously proud to have you as an alum. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.